Hi, welcome to Faith and Conviction, and I am your host, Ray Harris. And I would like to share with you some things today regarding the Bible. And not only is this a part that we can use with Faith and Conviction, it is actually a portion that's going to help with our Torah study as well. So it really is serving a double function today. But as we get into this, I would like to share with you some of the history of the English Bible so we can begin to understand why the study of Torah becomes so important and why I am fairly adamant to strongly suggestive that we need to learn how to use the Hebrew language and the Greek language of the Bible. So let's begin by taking a look just at some things of the history of the English Bible. Well, the English Bible has a very interesting history because it's basically born in blood. And it comes from the Latin Bible and men and women who were desperately wanting to understand the Bible and have it in their English language of the day. So they were wanting to study the original languages, which were Greek and Hebrew, and bring that in to a modern language, which was the early English. So what we have on the table with us is a little bit of a sampling of how this has come about. And this first one that we have is the New Testament, translated by William Tyndale. This is a 1526 edition. Now, I'd like to tell you that it's the original, but it's not. It really is just a facsimile. But what we have is photocopies, basically, of his translation work and how he brought it into English from that time period. Now, the next one that we have is the Matthew's Bible, which is a 1537 edition. And this is also a reprint. And if we bring it in, we can see that it's in the Old English as well, and it would take some time to learn how to read this. Now, what's interesting about this Bible is it has some of William Tyndale's work in it, and so Tyndale has become part of this English Bible. And this is the 1537 edition. Now, all of this is before the United States ever became a nation. Remember, we declared independence, the United States declared independence in 1776, and long before the settlers came over in 1604. So all of this has some modern but somewhat ancient feel to it. Now, the next one here that I have is called the Geneva Bible, and this is the 1560 edition. Now, this one here is considered the Bible of the Protestant Reformation. This one has a major influence on the King James translation. And it harkens back and has some of its roots back here in the Matthew's Bible and the Tyndale Bible. So when we open this one up, it also has marginal notes that were with it at the publication time. And it also has William Shakespeare type English in it, and takes some adjustment to read as well. But this is the Bible that sparked the Protestant Reformation. Now, lots of ideas go around the King James Bible, but really, when you take a look at this, I really think that it is the king trying to stop the argument. And so he says this becomes the authorized Bible. Well, why is he wanting it authorized? Well, because you have a variety of these rolling around out there. You got the Matthew's Bible, you have the Geneva Bible, and you have one or two more. And he's saying, I'm tired of it in the kingdom. Let's have this. So King James authorizes, out of king authority, a translation. And you open this up, and they have some marginal notes, and it's also in the Shakespearean type English. But what's interesting with this Bible and with the Geneva Bible is both of those Protestant Bibles have the Apocrypha. Now, that goes up through 1611. So walk with me a little bit. So we have, you jump over 1611, you arrive here in the 1820s. And this one here is a translation of the New Testament. This is not the only one that came out of that time period of translating the New Testament, but this is just looking at the New Testament. And this one here, this is my own personal King James. I use it quite a bit. I'm probably more familiar with it than anything else, but I'm not bound to any one particular translation. But there are lots of things that happen between this one here and this back here. And I've talked 3 or 4 minutes. That doesn't nearly give credit to what's happening. Men spent lives trying to get the Bible into the English language and were willing to die for it. They went to their own execution stake for it. Some of them were burned for it. But the value of it is when we come down here into the English, we have lots to choose from. And sometimes we want to argue from which translation is superior. We're going to make this a little bit of a series and start introducing some Bibles and why we have so many arguments. And then I'm going to introduce why we study the Torah from a certain perspective and the advantage of it. So in the meantime, continue to seek God, know Messiah, find hope.